and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyper-Conscious Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode where we sat down with the amazing Samantha Skelly. Today, for episode number 391, we are going to talk about abundance and why it is so important to live there.
So you've heard us talk a lot about abundance versus scarcity, but we wanted to take this as an opportunity to dig deeper on this concept. So for me, I think the easiest way to explain this in a short form is to reference something most of us are aware of, which is the movie The Lion King. So you've got Mufasa, who is...
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yes. Alert. Wow, I can't even talk. Okay, you have Mufasa, who represents abundance and power and love and the circle of life. And then you've got Scar, who represents fear, scarcity, and manipulation. So Scar has to manipulate his way to the top by convincing Simba to, be down there during the stampede, which ends up getting his dad killed. Now, that's kind of what abundance versus scarcity is. One of them is fear, and the other one is genuine desire of the heart and the soul. And you have to understand when you're in which. And one good example would be, imagine you're super tired or super hungover. This is the best example I can give because I've been there. You wake up super hungover and you don't feel well. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to give your time and energy to others. You just kind of want to eat and veg and relax and do almost nothing. That is a scarce place. You're not an overflowing cup. Whereas abundance is you're taking good care of your body, taking good care of your mind, taking good care of your emotions. You're aligned with your spiritual self. Like you're just well. You know how people say, "Oh, that person just really has their shit together." Mm-hmm. That's abundance. Versus someone who's late or tired or scarce and in fear, like I have to get this done. If you're at work trying not to get fired, that is scarcity. If you're at work trying to climb and aspire to greater, that is abundance.
I think it's limited versus unlimited.
Right.
If you have a limit, if you believe you have a limited amount of something, you're going to have to be more scarce with it. What is scarcity? When people say like, oh, the situation with the food is scarce, it means there's a very low amount of food. When people say like wealth is abundant, there isn't not an infinite amount of money, but like if you're out there listening right now, you can be a billionaire eventually.
Right.
There's enough money for that.
Yeah.
Right. And I think of it like, and we said this earlier in a non-related discussion, not an episode that we did on this, but a non-related discussion. That if I was to give you $1 million and say like, hey, this is what you get for the month, versus giving you $10, your entire belief system, your entire physiology, your decision-making process is going to be completely different.
Right.
Because okay, I have plenty versus not enough.
Right.
And it's very hard to make decisions if you're scarce because you're thinking about right now immediately what needs to be met or what need to be met versus saying like, I have enough money, I have plenty, there's plenty, I have plenty of energy, it's unlimited. I think it's truth. I think abundance is truth, and then scarcity is your limiting beliefs, basically.
So what's an example when you were scarce, and what was the downside of that, versus a time when you were abundant, and what was the upside of that?
Scarce versus abundance. Money, we talk about that all the time. I'm a different human being when I have a good amount of money, I'm a different human being. Like, I give way more to the waiters and the waitresses. You had a breakthrough?
I did. So
I buy stuff for the studio.
I remember telling this to the Mastermind when we were doing Selling with Integrity. And this is abundance. I have a client who might be better served by Kevin. And because I believe in my own ability to get more clients, I actually would prefer him to work with you if that's more aligned. Mm-hmm. Whereas I said this recently. I was on a coaching call last night with one of my clients. And I said this. If you want to know the real secret, it's that when people are around me, I genuinely feel like I see them for who they are and allow them to be who they are. They don't have to be who I think they should be. And when you're like that, you're in abundance and people are attracted to that, even though they don't really know why. They leave the room feeling like, wow, I really felt seen and heard for who I was. Whereas people that are scarce, they kind of try to manipulate you to be the way they need you to be because it's fearful. And so what I'll say is this. I remember telling this client, remember when you switched to bi-weekly from weekly? Imagine if I didn't believe in my own ability to make money. I would try to get you not to do that. Instead of saying, if that's more congruent for you, yeah, go do that. Now she's back on weekly. So Abundance is you don't need things to be a certain way outside of yourself. Scarcity means you need to manipulate your circumstances just to survive. One of them's survival mode. One of them is thriving. And there are times when you need to be in survival mode. If you're in a dark alley, like, trust me, scarcity will save your life. But if you're operating from that place in your real life, that's not good.
And we talked about this before. I think I lived most of my life. Like, if you're anxious, you're probably somewhat scarce. Right? And that I don't know that that's definitely causing it. But I know for me, that's the reason I wanted to make so much money, because I felt scarce just in general. And I do think that it's not always I would say more often than not, it's not the external. Like, money can help you feel abundant, but it's an energy thing. You have to be like energetically abundant. You can tell. Like, you just listened to that episode with Samantha. Like, she is abundant. You can tell by that energy. There's a difference in energy. Somebody sitting like this versus somebody sitting like this. Abundance versus scarcity. You're scarce. You're scarce. Abundance is just projecting infinite, unlimited energy.
One of them is force. One of them is power. I think you want to grow into the version of yourself that can be generous, can be loving, can be warm, because there's more than enough generosity. There's more than enough energy.
Speaking of growing into the best version of yourself,
Oh, yeah.
Alan and I are both doing free 30-minute consultations. I'll be doing mine on podcasts. Alan will be doing his on Peak Performance Business. No strings attached. Just DM me at NeverQuitKid, Alan at alazarus88, or you can email us at Kevin or Alan, respectively, at thehyperconsciouspodcast.com.
Or you can go to thehyperconsciouspodcast.com, and the links actually just got fixed. So there's Calendly, it's set up, you can book an appointment. Also, every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're doing the next one on manifestation. That's Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will actually be tonight, because this episode's dropping Monday at noon, so that'll be tonight.
That's a great question, man.
And we're also having a featured guest every 4 masterminds, so every 4th mastermind. And we're talking right now about either Tori Aletto or Samantha Skelly coming on for week 14. Do not miss that.
Fire. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed, and we will talk to you on Tuesday when we're dropping Selling with Integrity, the live mastermind we did, all about selling. If you're afraid of sales, this is the mastermind for you, because sales is not what you've been told.
If you want to be abundant, you got to learn how to sell, whether that's an idea or a product or a service. And don't miss that. And thanks again.
Adios.
Talk to you soon.